All right, what is up, takers? We are back with another exclusive interview, and joining me today is music artist Damon Fletcher. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Hey, how you guys doing? How you doing, Ty? Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. I am super excited to talk about your career and your journey as a music artist, as well as you have a big up and coming event later this month. So I'm excited to hear about that as well.
Yeah, I can't wait to share. We have a lot to dig into on this interview.
Absolutely. So that being said, let's go ahead and dive in. If you don't mind introducing yourself to our viewers and really, how did you get started in the music industry?
Yeah, so how are you doing to all of your takers out there? My name is Damon Fletcher, and I'm a music artist. And I actually just started making music during the pandemic, and I used that time to follow my dreams. So I really got into it because right before the pandemic, I was watching Usher's masterclass, The Art of Performance, as I was traveling for work. And I was listening to it, and it's like, man, I feel like I can do that. And then you're like, no, I can't do that. I'm too old. My life is already where it should be. Why do I feel like that? As that happened, I was sitting at the airport in DC. LL Cool J sat right next to me in that moment. And I was like, oh my God, I never get starstruck in here. You, sir, I have to talk to you. Your portrait is hanging in the Smithsonian next to Michelle Obama. How does that make you feel? And he was like, oh, it's a really great feeling. I was like, I want to do something like that in life. He was like, oh, you will. I already see it. I was like, yeah. So that was in December of 2019. And I still left that moment with doubt. Like, oh, he just says that to everybody. So, but now you fast forward to 3 months later, uh, now you're March 2020, everything shuts down. And it was like, for me, it was like, oh my gosh, this is my moment. I'm about to do everything that Usher said. LL already told me that I will. And I started putting all together the pieces. I reached out to songwriters who I've been working with as the Crush Boys and producers. His name is Geo. And we've been working together and just been creating out bangers for the last 4 years.
That is crazy to be just sitting in the airport next to LL Cool J. I couldn't imagine what that experience was like. Being an independent music artist, what has been some of the biggest challenges, because it's a different game being independent, not signed, it's like I feel like independent music artists they don't get their flowers.
Yes. So I don't do it for the flowers. I do it for the fun and for the fulfillment of myself. And I love that other people have fun and they attach and can relate to it. So that's what the journey actually took me to get here. And it's actually more freeing because there's no one controlling me. I can do the things that I want. I can present the way that I want to. And I'm more in control of myself and what I can do. Uh, you don't necessarily need labels or anything to really make it far. It's just your determination and your drive that will take you there.
Absolutely. And speaking of drive, you recently had the chance to. It was during the pandemic that you got to connect with Neo, correct?
Yes. So after I made my first song, Hustle with a Purpose, I started to DM artists because we are still sitting in the house. So I was trying to see if I can get a response. So I emailed the DM to a few artists, and I ended up getting a response from Neo like right away. And he said, what are you doing to promote your music? I was like, I'm just using word of mouth and social media. I feel like I'm right there. I just need that next little push. He was like, oh, well, do you want to do an Instagram live? So we ended up doing an Instagram live, and we talked, and I told him what inspired me to start doing it. And then what my goals of what we're trying to do next. And then we listened to my song 2 Miles. And after that conversation, he DM'd me after and was like, that's amazing. Let's continue to build and let's work. Send me all your music. And he sent me his email address to send all his music. Yeah, and that happened in that was March 2021. So that was my first year, my full first year in music.
Wow, that is incredible. And I think, especially during the pandemic, that was really for artists and like creatives like ourselves. That's what we were doing. We were in the house, Instagram live, Facebook live.
And I figured that was my opportunity to connect. And I knew at that time because I worked remote even from my day job. And so I knew I'm not going to let my day job consume my life. I'm going to work on my passions. And and make a delineation between work and fun.
That is crazy that you mentioned that. I'm a big reader, so I'm reading this book currently, and it talks a lot about, you might get paid hourly or yearly, annually, but the amount of money and versus the time spent, like the equivalent. So I I'm a big supporter of that. You have to have that work life balance.
Yeah, for sure. And that's how I was able to get to where I'm in to keep going. It's
So let's
freeing.
talk a little bit more about your music. I want to know what your relationship and then a business relationship and experience has been like working with producer Zaytoven, because I know he helped you produce 24 the EP, right?
Yes. So I've met Zaytoven through Neo. So after that interaction with Neo, I made my next music video called Ready, and I did that with Cupid from the Cupid Shuffle, and we shot that music video on a helipad in downtown LA. This is as things were kind of opening up after the pandemic. So we had fun. I had a bunch of dancers. One of the dancers was on Beyonce's Renaissance tour. So they're professionals. So it was probably 2 weeks after I released that music video. I released that one in May 2021. And I got a DM from Zaytoven, and he reached out to me and spoke to Neo about you. He said you was putting in work. And so we started working. So anybody who doesn't know, Zaytoven won a Grammy for producing Usher's Raymond versus Raymond album. And so now we started to talk, and he was like, "Tell me something interesting about yourself." I was like, "Well, I just started making music, just sitting here, and I'm just trying to see how far I can go. Maybe I can go as far as you did and win a Grammy." He's like, "We already know that. That's why we're talking." And so we've been working and building, and we did a music video called Elevate, just to kind of test the relationship. And that one came out in 2022, in May of 2022. And after we released that, he was like, "Let's do a whole EP." So we did a whole EP, and it's called 24 the EP, and that released last summer.
Nonstop, the grinds. It's the continued grinds in networking.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
That being said, what makes you unique and sets you apart from other artists, as well as kind of a double question? And then, how is the music scene in Detroit different than Atlanta?
So I would say what makes me different from most artists is the independence. Honestly, I've built this all myself. I looked at it as a business because that's what it's show business. So you have to approach it in that way, and that's what makes me stand out different. And I've learned that from a lot of producers and artists in the industry that tells me about that. So I'm grateful for my work ethic.
All right, and then I know in Detroit, I was just telling you before we started recording that I'm kind of missing home a little bit because I'm not home now. I'm out of state, but the draft, the NFL draft, and it was an amazing event in downtown Detroit. And your single "Welcome" actually got played by DJ Rue. So what was that like to have your song played during the NFL draft festivities?
One, it was amazing on so many different levels. One, just to be at an event like that and just have that many people and people dancing and partying to your music, that is a really great feeling. And two, for it to happen in a place like Detroit. And when Detroit is such on the stage like that with so many people, I was happy to be a part of it. And I would love to continue as I grow in my career to continue to support Detroit and watch the whole city grow too.
Absolutely. I saw the video clip of it being played on Rocky's LinkedIn, and I was like, that is so exciting. I'm super big on advocating for independent music artists, and I was so excited for you. So I could only imagine what that feeling was like to be like, that's my song.
Right. Yeah, exactly. That is it does take some getting used to. Because now even I walk around the city sometimes too, and I'll start to talk to people and I'll tell my story, and you'll start to talk, and they're like, "Wait, I've heard of you before." Or their kids will know about me. They're like, "Oh," and they'll one of my friends or something like that. They're my age. I'm 41. So people, their children they'll start to ask their kids if they know who I am, and they're be my biggest fans. And that's humbling, to say the least, to know that I'm connecting with a whole generation.
Absolutely. Also, for those that may be watching and they may be at the beginning of their music journey, or maybe they want to take a shot in the industry, what advice would you give? And give them some words of wisdom.
Keep going. Don't listen to anybody else. Your dream of that vision that's right in front of you, keep chasing that, because everybody else is going to try to distract you because they can't see it. But you have to keep going. And if you keep going, there's going to be a bunch of people that's watching you that you have no clue. And then when you keep going, they'll start to show themselves, and they'll start to talk and help bring you along. So I know it seems like you're talking to no one or singing and doing all this work for no one. They're watching. So keep going.
Yes, speaking gems, I love it. And then before we get to the main event we want to discuss, if you could or if you could choose to work with any artist or producer, who would you choose? I think now we should take that time to manifest it and speak it into existence.
Oh, for sure, Usher. And I'm working on that relationship. I actually was just here in Atlanta. He was at the Cascade skating rink about 2 weeks ago, and ran into him, his wife, and Brian Michael Cox, and started having conversations. So that was the second time I met Usher. So it's happening. I'm getting closer to it. I think after this next project, you're going to see Usher and I together.
Manifested. Let's speak it into existence. All right. So the Great Experience live show is happening on May 24th in Detroit at the Garden Theater. We were talking off air about just what an incredible venue the Garden Theater is. What can people expect from this event, performance wise, energy wise, and can people still purchase tickets?
Yes. So prepare to feel great, because that's why it's called the Great Experience. There's no way in the world that once you come to this show that you're going to leave feeling down or anything. Your energy, everything, you're going to ride a crazy wave for a while after this show, just because the music is just so high energy, and just the dancing and everything is going to stick with you. And so for me, as I was studying my performance and trying to put these things together, I actually watched Beyonce. I watched a lot of the videos on YouTube of all of her shows from her tour last summer, and I watched how she performs. You can see how she recovers when things don't go correct. So I do learn about things like that, because like even your in ears when you're performing, if that goes out, what do you do if you're relying on that? So you see that happen to her a couple of times, and you see how she recovers from it. And then I also just see how she just interacts with the crowds, just the lighting, everything. And so I put those all into my show, and I hope that people can see that influence in my performance.
Absolutely. It's an event you don't want to miss. I know it's going to be hosted by comedian Crystal P. And then you also have performances by the House of Jit. So tickets are still available, and you can see it's been scrolling during the entirety of this interview. But you guys can purchase those tickets on eventbrite.com. And then you can just search the keywords Damon Fletcher.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So, yes, you can. So feel free to get your tickets. Tell all your friends, and it's an event for all ages. So there'll be kids there from 5 all the way up to 94. So it is for everybody. It's all about positivity. There's no cussing. There's no negativity. It's just a free space. And so I'm looking forward to seeing people there. And during the show, I'm actually going to release my second single from the Great Experience EP, which is coming out this summer. It's called I Let It Go. And I'm going to perform this song for the first time, and I'm going to shoot a music video of the live performance during the show. So that's going to be very exciting. And so, once during that show, I'm going to try to get I am going to get a pre-save code to get people to download the song before it's released on June 7th, so you can get this song to hit the Billboard charts. So
Absolutely.
I'm gonna ask for all your help as we go.
Yes, for sure. The takers
Yeah.
will definitely take over social media and make sure that we get you on top of the charts as
Right.
well. Also, I do want to make it clear once again. You can purchase tickets as well as Eventbrite.com, Damon Fletcher, and then tickets are also available with all of your information and upcoming events and projects. Simply enough, DamonFletcher.com.
Yep, that's correct. Yeah, that's easy to remember.
Nice, clean, and simple. All right, Damon, thank you so much for stopping by and joining us. I am wishing you continued success on your music journey. And like I said, I'm gonna have to make it happen because I want to hear all about the event, and we're definitely gonna post all your social media information in the video description as well. Once again, thank you so much for joining us today.
Hey, thank you. I appreciate you and I hope to see you there.